Everybody would waste it all. To have a summer that they could fall. Memory that's full of fun. On and on, reckless abandon. Something's wrong. This is gonna sharpen. Nothing to hold on to. Use this song to lead you on and break the truth with more bad news. We left the scar size extra large.
Hey everyone, this video will hopefully be an updated and improved version on my previous tutorial of how to play the song Reckless Abandon by Blink-182. If you'd like to, you can download an updated version of my drum sheet music from the link below. When you download that drum sheet music, you'll also get access to a bunch of MP3 files I've put together to help with practicing and playing along with the song. There is a drumless version of the song, which sounds like this. There's a drumless version with a click track added. By the way, apart from a count of 4 right at the start, the click is just on 1 and 3. So if this is the click, you're counting it like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's also a drumless version with the click at a slower tempo. And there's another at an even slower tempo. So hopefully with those you can practice the song slowly and then gradually build up to the full tempo of the song. Along with those 4 MP3 files, there's another complete set of 4 with the explicit language removed from the song. That's the version that I've used for my cover of the song. And if you'd like to watch my cover, you can also find a link to that in the description below. Okay, so let's get started. The groove in the introduction is a simple 1-bar pattern where you're just playing quarter notes on the ride cymbal. So like 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a snare on 2 and 4, and there's a bass drum on 1 and on the end of 3. And so it sounds like this. Slowly, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Halfway through that introduction, there is a drum fill which begins with a snare on the 1, along with the bass and the ride that you'd normally be playing on 1. So it goes 1, 2, 3, and 4, 1. The whole thing is like this. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. At the end of the introduction is a 1-bar roll on the snare drum, which just goes like this. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, and a 2, and 3, and 4, and then into the verse, which is played on the hi-hat. But yeah, that drum roll just goes 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and, except that the first stroke on the snare with your left hand which is on the end, is actually a double stroke. So 1 and a. 1, 2, 3 and 4. 1 and a 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, so the verse is played on the hi-hat. You can have the hi-hat slightly open. You're still just playing quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. But this time you have a 2-bar pattern, which is a little bit of a variation on the groove from the introduction. And it's like this. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4. One, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Halfway through the verse, there is a double stroke played on the snare on 4. So it's like 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2. Or you can play, instead of a double stroke with your left hand, you can play 4 and you do that right then left, like this. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Right, left. Okay, at the end of that verse, leading into the chorus, is a 2-bar drum fill which includes this thing called a herta. Now, a herta apparently is just 2 faster strokes followed by 2 slower strokes. In this fill, you'll play 2 faster strokes on the rack tom, followed by 2 slower strokes on the snare, like this. The fill does not begin with that, though. It begins with a bass drum on 1, the snare and floor tom together on end, and then a bass drum on 2. 1 and 2. That brings the fill in, and then you play the herta. 1 and 2 and a 3 and. You repeat that. So it's like this. Now the timing for that is a little bit weird, because that pattern takes 3 beats in total. So you play it the first time starting on 1, then you're up to 4. And you play it again, this time starting on 4. So the way you count it sounds like this. 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4 and 1 and a 2 and. You're now up to 3, and you simply finish with 3 and 4 and. The whole thing goes like this. 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4 and 1 and a 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. When you play that at full tempo, the 2 strokes on the rack tom are quite close together, almost like a flam. So one tip that I would give to help with playing that at full speed is, after you've played 1 and 2, while you're playing that 2 on the bass drum, bring both your hands up to the rack tom ready to play those 2 fast strokes together. One thing that I was doing wrong that was making it hard for me was I would play that first stroke on the tom with my right hand, and I left my left hand hovering over the snare. I kept on trying to bring that up after I'd played that right stroke, and it's just too fast for that. So 1 and make sure you bring both hands up together. 1. And it is almost like a flam, they're so close together. So I hope that might help. Okay, so that brings us to the chorus, which is played on the ride cymbal. You go back to the groove from the introduction, which was that simple 1-bar pattern that goes like this. 1, 2, 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. And then in the third bar of that, you add in an extra bass drum on the end of 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then that leads into the fourth bar, which is different again. It begins with a snare on 1, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, so the first 4 bars of the chorus is like this. You've just played the herta drum fill, and then 1, 2, 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And then repeat that. 1, 2, 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, we're still in the chorus, but we now move to our right hand on a crash cymbal. So I bring it in with a crash on the left hand side, and then move to the right hand crash. And you're going to play the same groove from the verse, which was that 2-bar pattern that went like this. 1, 2, 3 and 4, and 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Only we're on the crash cymbal. So we then come back to the ride cymbal, and we're still just playing quarter notes on the ride. 1, 2, 3, 4. While we're playing that, we alternate between doubles with our right foot on the bass drum and our left hand. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and... But our left hand is also alternating between the snare drum and the rack tom, like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and of course our right hand is still playing quarter notes on the ride. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and... there is 3 bars of that, and then on the 4th bar it goes like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So it begins just like the pattern you've been playing, except without the doubles. They're just singles. 1 and 2 and. And then it moves to the floor tom, and you play a double with your right hand. Right, right, left, back on the snare. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, so that whole section is like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, and then to finish the chorus, there's a section which includes a bunch of crash cymbals and the ride and the snare and the bass and the toms. It's a bit of a complicated pattern. I'll just show you how it goes slowly and count it out. So it goes like this. 1, 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Okay, so even slower again, that goes like this. 1, 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. 1 and 2 and 3, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Okay, so next you just go back and play that whole thing again, exactly the same. You do the introduction again, the verse and the chorus just the same. The only thing you need to know is how to bring it back in to that second time around. There's a fill which just goes like this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. The sticking for that is right, left, right, left, right, right, left.
Size extra large.
And then back into the introduction, verse, chorus, and then you stop again. And then coming up is a bridge. Now there's no drums in the actual bridge where someone is singing, but just before that there is a kind of an instrumental that leads into the bridge. And you play a different pattern in that instrumental. Now this pattern includes a crash cymbal. You use the bell on the ride. You play on top of a closed hi-hat with the tips of your sticks. And then I use an open hi-hat with my left hand. But if you've got if you have a splash cymbal, that would be quite good. Play splash cymbal with your left hand. I could use this crash, but it would be better with a splash. And I think the open hi-hat is better than that crash. So I just use the open hi-hat. And the pattern goes like this: 1 and 2, 3, 4 E and a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Then you just play that again, but there's a slight variation on the 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4 E and a 1 and 2 and 3 and, instead of 4 on the open hi-hat or splash or whatever, instead of that, you play 4 and on the floor tom. Okay, so that whole section, that whole pattern is like this: 1 and 2, 3, 4 E and a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4 E and a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, and you keep repeating that a few times.
Scar size extra large.
After the bridge, all that's left to do is to come back in and play the chorus one more time. To bring it back into that final chorus, you play a fill which has the herta in it again, but it's different to the one before. It has 3 hertas. It begins with a bass drum and a herta, like this: 1 and a 2 and you play that 3 times. So 1 and a 2 and 3 and a 4 and 1 and a 2 and then just finish with 3 and 4 and. So all together, that's like this: 1 and a 2 and 3 and a 4 and 1 and a 2 and 3 and 4 and. And then you just play the chorus one final time, and that's it. So I hope that's helpful. Good luck with playing the song, and thanks for watching.
Everybody would waste it all to have a summer that they could fall. Memory that's full of fun.